If you've never had a phone contract before, or it's been a while since your last one, you might be wondering how they work. After all, phone contracts can be quite complex. In this video, we've walked through how phone contracts work from the day you buy to the day the contract ends, and what to do after that. But before we begin, if you're looking for a phone on a contract, come to greensmartphones.com to find the best prices. Just navigate to a phone you want to buy, and you can find the cheapest deals on the market from all of the major networks. Let's get started. Okay, so I'll explain this sort of like a timeline, like how the contract works from beginning to end. So the first thing to do is pick a phone. Let's say we want the iPhone 15. Then you can see all the different contracts here from the different providers and their different monthly costs and different upfront costs. If you click View Deal, this will take you to the provider's website where you can buy the contract. So let's say we like the look of this deal here. So we'll click View Deal to go to the 3 website. So here's the contract in your basket on 3.co.uk. As you progress through this, the first thing you'll need to do is pass a credit check. This is done online and the process is pretty instant. Most of the time, passing a credit check is fairly straightforward unless you have problems with your credit score. Okay, so once you pass the credit check, you'll need to pay the upfront fee. Normally the provider will require you to pay this with a credit or debit card. So not all contracts have an upfront fee. You can see here 3 is charging $75 upfront on most of their deals, while it's about $50 with giffgaff or $20 on some of their other plans. You can use the filter here to specify what sort of upfront cost you're willing to pay. So if we set this to 0, we can see that some of these plans have no upfront fee. So once the upfront fee is paid, if there is one, you'll need to pay the first monthly amount. Normally, the provider will prompt you to set up a direct debit, but you can pay with other methods as well. Just be prepared for it to be more expensive if you don't use direct debit. You can see here, 3 will charge you £5 more per month if you don't use direct debit. Once you've paid the upfront fee and the first month, you'll get the phone shipped to you in the mail, and you can begin using it. At this point, you might like to switch your number over from your old phone. All you need to do is text PAC to 65075 from your current phone, and they'll give you a special PAC code. Then you can provide this PAC code to your new provider, and they'll switch the number to the SIM in your new phone. This is pretty quick and pretty straightforward to do as well, most of the time. You might also like to begin importing your contacts, photos, and maybe your apps from your old phone to your new one. Okay, so now the contract has started, you'll need to pay this monthly cost every month for the remainder of the contract. But there's some very important things to know here. The first thing you've got to be careful about is the contract length. So this green iPhone 15 deal we looked at comes with a 36-month contract. So you have to pay this monthly fee for 3 years. And be careful about this because it says 24-month minimum term here attached to the data plan, but the device plan length is 36 months. So this is how long you're locked in for. But contracts aren't always 36 months. If we use the filter here, we can show deals that come with a 24-month contract. In return for this, you'll normally pay a higher monthly cost. And if we come to the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, we can see that some providers even offer 48-month contracts. This is quite common on very expensive phones. They do it to make the monthly cost look lower, but honestly, it's a really long time to be locking in for a phone. So the 24 or 36-month contracts are generally a better choice if you can get them. But your monthly cost won't necessarily stay the same during the contract. So with this 3 deal, for example, if we click this little disclaimer by the monthly cost, it says basically that the price increases each April by the rate of inflation plus 3.9%. So basically every year, you can expect the monthly cost to increase by about 5, 6 or 7%, depending on the rate of inflation. So this £26.61 could quite easily become £27, £28, £29 by the end of the contract. Just something to be aware of. Some providers don't do this, but to tell, look at this little disclaimer at the bottom on the deals on greensmartphones.com, and then make sure to check the provider's website for the full terms and conditions about their pricing. During the contract, with certain providers, you can upgrade your phone. So if we keep using that 3 deal as an example, they'll probably begin sending you upgrade deal offers near the end of your contract. Basically, when you upgrade, you're just entering into a new contract, but you might also be sending your old phone back to get credit with the provider, either towards your current contract or the one you're about to enter. So 3 is not particularly flexible here. You can only upgrade just before your deal is about to end. But with some other providers, like Sky Mobile, they allow you to do it any time after the first 31 days of the contract. But if you upgrade quite early, you'll probably have to pay off the rest of your contract before you can do this. So you can see here with Sky, they say on a 24-month contract, at least half of the contract needs to have expired before you can upgrade, without having to pay off at least some of the rest of your contract. Most of the time, if 12 months have passed, the value of your existing phone can pay off the rest of the deal, and then you can upgrade to a new contract. Generally, upgrading is a bit tricky unless your current deal is about to end. So if you get a 24 or 36-month contract, most of the time, you should expect to use your phone for that full 2 or 3 year period, unless you're willing to pay off the rest of the contract early. Most of the time, this means paying the full monthly bill for the rest of the deal for however many months were left on the contract. But what if the phone breaks or is stolen during the contract? Most of the time, you'll have to pay out of pocket to get it repaired, or if it's stolen, you'll still have to pay your monthly bill for the rest of the contract, so you'll have to buy another device outright. You can't get out of the contract if you break or lose your phone, so you need to be especially careful with the device when it's in a contract. This is why smartphone insurance might be worth considering if you're buying a phone on a contract. So what happens at the end of the contract? And going back to this iPhone example, when the 36 months is over, you own this phone outright. So you can do what you want with it, including trading it in for a new phone, or continuing to use it, potentially with a cheaper data SIM. If you come to SIM only here on greensmartphones.com, let's say you want 150 gigabytes a month still. If you don't mind switching to ID Mobile, you'll pay about £12 per month for this. Or you could also switch to another 3 SIM if you want to stay on their network. But whatever you do, it's important to do something with your SIM plan, because by default, you'll continue paying this monthly fee, which in 3 years from now will probably be more than £30 a month, for the same amount of data. So when the 36 months is over, it makes sense to cancel this SIM plan and switch to another one, like these deals available here on greensmartphones.com. So are phone contracts a good choice? If you find one that works for you, on a handset you like, these contracts can be a great way to get your hands on a phone without paying a huge upfront fee. These sorts of fees aren't too unreasonable to get this phone with this much data. You just need to be aware that you're locking in for a long time. So it pays to take your time comparing a lot of different deals to find one that works for you. And to do that, you can use greensmartphones.com no matter what phone you want to buy. Make sure to click the link in the description to come to our comparison site. And if you have any questions about how phone contracts work or which one you should choose, leave a comment below and we'll get back to you.